Today's highlights from the Wall Street Journal and Financial Times are as follows. From the shadowy black market trade of Starlink terminals to U.S. adversaries to the dire food aid crisis in Gaza, our world faces pressing challenges. Advancements in AI by OpenAI and Meta offer glimpses into the future of technology. Utah's booming job market contrasts with Arizona's revived abortion ban, while Taiwanese manufacturers plan overseas headquarters amid rising tensions with China.
The proliferation of Starlink internet terminals, developed by Elon Musk's SpaceX to Russian forces in Ukraine and paramilitary groups in Sudan, has raised concerns about their potential use by US adversaries. Despite Russia's ban on Starlink, middlemen have emerged to facilitate the purchase and delivery of these devices to Russian troops, undermining the battlefield advantage once held by Ukrainian forces. These terminals provide crucial internet access and communication capabilities, aiding in the control of drones and other advanced technologies essential for modern warfare. SpaceX has the capability to restrict Starlink access through geofencing and deactivation of individual devices. However, the company has not taken action to prevent their use by US adversaries like Russia and Sudan. The proliferation of Starlink hardware has created a shadowy supply chain, with devices ending up in the hands of American adversaries and accused war criminals. Despite efforts by Ukrainian officials to address the issue with SpaceX, the company has not responded to requests for assistance in regulating the use of Starlink in conflict zones. In Sudan, where the use of Starlink is illegal, paramilitary groups like the Rapid Support Forces, also known as RSF, have found ways to bypass regulations and utilize the technology for high-speed internet access. Dealers in Dubai activate the devices and purchase roaming packages, allowing users in Sudan to circumvent local restrictions. Despite requests from Sudanese authorities for assistance from SpaceX, the company has not responded, leaving the RSF unchecked in their use of Starlink. The widespread availability of Starlink devices has led to their use in makeshift internet cafes in Sudanese cities, with users charged exorbitant fees for access. Sudanese officials have called for joint regulation of Starlink operations with SpaceX to address the proliferation of these devices and their potential use by military groups. However, the lack of response from SpaceX has prompted regulatory crackdowns on the importation of Starlink kits in Sudan. As the conflict in Ukraine persists and tensions escalate in Sudan, the unchecked proliferation of Starlink devices raises questions about the responsibility of technology companies like SpaceX in preventing their use by adversaries and accused war criminals. Despite concerns raised by affected countries and international observers, the role of Starlink in conflict zones remains largely unregulated, leaving civilian populations vulnerable to exploitation and abuse of technology for military purposes.
Tons of food aid are stranded at Gaza's border, exacerbating an already dire humanitarian crisis in the region. The logistical nightmare unfolds as hundreds of trucks carrying essential supplies sit idle within a 4-kilometer stretch along Gaza's border with Egypt. These vehicles, laden with vital provisions such as flour, rice, pulses, blankets, and medicine, are crucial lifelines for a population teetering on the brink of famine. The situation is dire, with the massive backlog of trucks representing a logistical gridlock that further compounds the challenges faced by aid agencies. Even on the most optimistic estimates, it would take more than 3 days to clear the backlog, severely hampering the timely distribution of aid to those in need. Compounding the issue, the queues of trucks can extend all the way back to Egypt's El Arish airport on particularly bad days, adding further delays and frustrations to an already strained system. Beyond the Egyptian border, similar scenes unfold at Gaza's southern border with Israel, where aid trucks await clearance at the Kerem Shalom crossing. Despite efforts to increase aid delivery, the current rate falls short of the minimum daily average recommended by the UN, leaving many Gazans without access to essential supplies. The logistical challenges are compounded by a myriad of factors, including bombardment from Israeli forces, insecurity within Gaza, shortages of security staff, unpredictable Israeli checks, and a limited number of entry points. These obstacles, coupled with the overarching complexities of war and conflict, create a formidable barrier to the efficient and timely delivery of aid. Efforts to address the crisis are underway, with Israel's recent commitment to opening additional crossing points welcomed by aid groups. However, the implementation of these measures remains incomplete, and the impact on aid delivery is yet to be fully realized. Meanwhile, Gaza's humanitarian situation continues to deteriorate rapidly. With the holy month of Ramadan approaching, the plight of the besieged enclave is further compounded by escalating levels of hunger and malnutrition. The UN's Integrated Food Security Phase Classification, IPC, warns of famine setting in, with alarming rates of malnutrition among children under 2 years old. Despite Israel's denial of blocking aid, Accusations of obstructing the flow of essential supplies persist. The arbitrary nature of Israeli regulations governing permitted goods adds another layer of complexity to the aid delivery process, resulting in delays and disruptions that further exacerbate the crisis. In light of these challenges, the international community calls for urgent action to address the humanitarian catastrophe unfolding in Gaza. The politicization of aid and the broader geopolitical considerations must be set aside to prioritize the lives and well-being of Gaza's vulnerable population. Immediate and concerted efforts are needed to ensure the unhindered flow of aid and prevent further suffering in the embattled enclave.
OpenAI and Meta are set to unveil new AI models that aim to achieve reasoning and planning capabilities, marking significant strides toward achieving superhuman cognition in machines. Meta plans to introduce Llama 3 soon, while OpenAI is preparing for the release of GPT-5 in the near future. These upgrades signify a push towards enhancing the capabilities of large language models, which power various generative AI applications like Chat. According to Joel Pino of Meta, the focus is on imbuing these models with the ability to reason, plan, and retain memory, moving beyond mere conversational abilities. Brad Lightcap of OpenAI echoes this sentiment, emphasizing the importance of tackling complex tasks and expanding the model's reasoning capabilities. The current generation of AI systems excels at specific tasks, but struggles with broader cognitive functions. The advancements by Meta and OpenAI are part of a broader trend, with several companies including Google, Anthropic, and Cohere also developing advanced language models. These efforts underscore the rapid progress in generative AI with the goal of achieving artificial general intelligence, AGI, becoming increasingly attainable. Reasoning and planning are crucial components in the journey towards a GI enabling AI systems to tackle interconnected tasks and anticipate outcomes. Yan LeCun of Meta highlights the necessity of incorporating reasoning into AI models, emphasizing the need for machines to think, plan, and adapt their actions based on their environment. Meta intends to integrate its new AI model into platforms like WhatsApp and Ray-Ban smart glasses, offering enhanced capabilities to users. OpenAI aims to enhance the reasoning abilities of its models, paving the way for more complex tasks and longer sequences of actions. Overall, the developments in AI represent a significant step towards achieving human-level cognition in machines, with implications for various industries and applications. As AI systems become more adept at reasoning and planning, they hold the potential to revolutionize how we interact with technology, shaping the future of AI-mediated experiences.
Salt Lake City emerged as the top job market in 2023, followed by Jacksonville, Orlando, and Tampa in Florida, showcasing the appeal of more affordable cities with robust tech and finance sectors. Despite layoffs in technology, manufacturing, and finance industries nationwide, the Mountain West and Sunbelt cities drew workers with their abundant job opportunities, wage growth, affordability, and recreational amenities. The Wall Street Journal, in collaboration with Moody's Analytics, assessed around 380 metro areas based on 5 factors: unemployment rate, labor force participation rate, employment level changes, labor force size, and wages. Larger areas and smaller ones were ranked separately. Cities like Salt Lake City, dubbed Silicon Slopes, attracted white-collar workers seeking affordable alternatives to traditional tech hubs like San Francisco. The pandemic intensified this migration, especially among young professionals craving outdoor access. Salt Lake City excelled across all metrics, boasting high labor force participation and wage growth. Similarly, Austin, Texas, maintained its appeal as a tech hub, offering strong labor force participation. Despite challenges like layoffs and high interest rates, Salt Lake City's diverse economy facilitated job transitions, with industries like finance and manufacturing absorbing displaced workers. Business-friendly policies and tax incentives further bolstered the city's attractiveness for businesses outside the tech sector. Florida showcased its strength with 4 cities in the top 10, driven by corporate relocations and opportunities in the gig economy. Jacksonville's rise reflected its appeal to companies relocating from the Northeast, while the lack of state income tax in Florida continued to attract remote workers. Tampa and Miami led in wage growth, signaling employers' willingness to offer competitive salaries. The rankings underscored the evolving landscape of job markets, with affordability and diverse economic opportunities driving workers' decisions. Florida's resilience and Salt Lake City's tech hub status exemplified the shifting dynamic shaping America's job markets.
Arizona Supreme Court has resurrected a 160-year-old abortion ban, intensifying the political landscape in a state pivotal to the 2024 presidential race. Despite a 2022 law permitting abortion up to 15 weeks, the court ruled that a pre-statehood ban from 1864 still holds precedence. While enforcement remains uncertain due to Governor Katie Hobbs' executive order and the Attorney General's stance, the decision ignites a battle over a November ballot measure protecting abortion rights. This measure, allowing abortion access through fetal viability, has garnered significant support, reflecting Arizona's recent political shifts. The ruling amplifies the significance of abortion in upcoming elections, potentially swaying outcomes in a state where competitive races abound. With President Biden trailing in polls against former President Trump, abortion emerges as a pivotal issue, particularly in a state historically contested between Democrats and Republicans. Arizona's unique legal history, retaining pre-Roe abortion bans, underscores the complexity of its abortion politics amidst evolving national trends.
Several major Taiwanese manufacturers are considering establishing second headquarters overseas to ensure operational continuity in the event of a Chinese attack on Taiwan. This move reflects global efforts to secure supply chains, especially in industries like tech, prompting significant adjustments among key players. Contract manufacturers in Taiwan have long been integral to global supply chains for electronic devices, including smartphones and servers. Amidst geopolitical tensions, companies like Elon and Quista are contemplating secondary headquarters in Southeast Asia, aiming to activate an alternative command system abroad should an emergency occur in Taiwan. The backdrop includes China's claim over Taiwan, prompting contingency planning among foreign companies and Taiwanese suppliers. Factors such as rising costs in China, the U.S.-China trade war, and the push to diversify production away from China contribute to this strategic shift. While discussions primarily focus on geographical diversification, considerations for backup headquarters are emerging at the executive level in major Taiwanese corporations. Singapore, Japan, Switzerland, and the Netherlands are among the potential locations for these secondary headquarters. This proactive approach aligns with broader structural changes within Taiwanese companies, signaling a shift towards operating in multiple jurisdictions. While some firms are moving swiftly, others are proceeding cautiously, balancing agility with strategic planning. Despite the urgency triggered by geopolitical tensions, some argue that virtual operations can mitigate immediate risks. Nonetheless, the deliberations underscore the complex strategic decisions facing Taiwanese manufacturers amidst geopolitical uncertainties and supply chain vulnerabilities.
That concludes today's daily news. Please consider subscribing if you found this video helpful.